Hey guys, I'm Luis, I'm a game developer and I've been working on a game for a while and I wanted to show you guys how it's been going. I'm gonna start by telling you guys some of the backstory of this game and how it was the reason why I started learning game development. If you want to skip right to the devlog, I'll leave the timestamp here somewhere, or you can use the chapters on YouTube to skip, but I really recommend you stay for the story. So when I was a kid, I used to play this game called Zombie Blocks a lot. It was a Brazilian zombie shooter game and it was kind of addictive. I spent a lot of time playing it and I always wanted to create something like this. The creator of the game ran into some problems and decided to discontinue the project, and he ended up releasing the Unity project files to the public, and a lot of people started downloading it and trying to make their own versions of Zombie Blocks. And I always wanted to try doing this, but I was just a lazy kid, so I never really got into doing it. But in 2019 I was 16 years old and I was struggling a little bit with life in general. I had just been fired off the job I had at a grocery store, so I really had to do something to keep my mind working. So at this time, all of my free time was dedicated to learning game development. My first game idea was exactly what you're expecting: Bodyrain. It was going to be very similar to Zombie Blocks, basically an infinite zombie shooter with a single player progression. And after months of YouTube tutorials and many hours of work, this is what I had done. So as you can see, it was really bad. I had made about probably 10% of the game and it was already terrible, and I knew I wouldn't be able to finish this and have a decent game in the end. So I dropped this idea and started working on some smaller projects. I made some mobile games and I participated in some game jams. I was learning really fast how to create games, so I decided it was time to make my first real big game. And why do you think it was? Bodyrain. And I ended up actually turning this idea that I had into a full complete game. I mean, it's functional and it has a decent amount of content, but it just lacks the fun, the character that I wanted this game to have. The gameplay gets boring really fast, the gameplay loop is kind of flawed, and the assets that I used were from Punx Studios. Don't get me wrong, they are great assets, but I just don't feel like using them on my games because there are so many mobile games and asset flips done using these assets and they just lost all the character they had. So I ended up just releasing this for free on GameJolt and I started working on other projects, some of which did really good. An example is game.exe, which really popped off more than I was expecting, and it motivated me to release 2 more games. But these, they didn't hit as much as game.exe. And at this time I was really wanting to turn this into my full-time job. My dream was to quit my job and just work on my games. But seeing all the sale numbers drop just discouraged me, because it was really consuming to work a full-time job while also developing games. So I just stopped. For more than a year now, I haven't released anything on Steam, and that was starting to bother me, you know? Having the possibility to create things and just not doing it is really frustrating. And recently, I started feeling like creating Bodyrain again, the definitive version of it, the way I always envisioned it to be. And so I started, and since last month, December 2023, I've been working quite a lot on this game. But recently I felt a decrease in my motivation and I really don't want to let this get in my way. So I decided to record these devlogs and upload them to YouTube so that I can show people what I've been doing, and hopefully this will be my motivation for you to complete the project. So if you would like to play this game, then please subscribe and like the video and leave a nice comment, because it would really help a lot. I really appreciate it. Now, let me show you what I've been cooking in this last month. On the first day, I coded the player movement and a pistol, and I've added some animations and some particles. That was it. I called it a day. On the second day, I coded the knife and added some post-processing. Later on, I decided to remove the motion blur because it was too distracting, too jarring in my opinion, but I kept the noise and the bloom effects. The next day, I already had a working inventory system and an assault rifle, and also, as you can see, now we have bullet holes. My initial idea was to make an inventory inspired on Fortnite, like each gun having its rarity, and the assault rifle was supposed to be a rare item. That's why it's pink here. But I ended up scraping this idea, and you'll see later on what I ended up doing for the UI. A few days later, I came back to the project and I created this little test area with the assets that I will be using to create the map. And I added different bullet holes for each material type. So on the ground you can see it makes a dirty brown cloud effect, and on the car it makes more of a spark, representing that it is metal. And as you can see, I started to spice up a little bit of the UI. Now it has this minimalistic dark style that I haven't really seen on a lot of games, but I found that it looked really good. I also added the health and stamina bar, but I haven't made the systems yet, so they were just kind of visual stuff. The next day I made the gun ammo UI, and I know this font looks atrocious and it doesn't fit at all, but I changed it later. And also, all the sounds right now are really just placeholders. As you can see, now we have a shotgun. It shoots 8 bullets and deals a lot of damage. And I'm really proud of this system that I made to do the shotgun reload. It feels really good. Alright, the next clip I'm gonna show you, I forgot to turn off the music I was playing, so don't mind hearing the banger song playing on the background. This day I added hand grenades. They explode, deal damage, and apply a forced physics objects around them. And I was just testing them on this table right here. As you can see, I changed the font on the UI so it fits a lot better, and I'm very satisfied with how it looks now. The zombie wave UI right here is just a placeholder. I was just figuring out the general interface, and I felt like leaving it there just to be used later. And I had this really fun glitch where the shotgun was applying a little bit more force than I expected, and the table just flew once I shot it. So I fixed it, and I added some barrels to my test area and shot them. I sent this clip to my friends, and one of them suggested, why don't you make the red barrels explode when you shoot them? And so I did it. And I also added this new SMG. A few days later, I added this sniper rifle, which deals a lot of damage and has a scope that makes it 100% accurate. And I also added some walking and running animations to spice up the movement a little bit. And then I went on a vacation, and I really haven't touched much more on the game since. The only thing I did this year was code the weapons shop and arrange the shop UI and optimize some code. So I'll be posting this video and I will get right back to work. This is my dream game, and I'm putting so much love and care into making it. So if you guys could help by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing, it would mean a lot. And that's it. Until next time, see ya!